Alright, let's get right into today's video. So I want to start off today by playing some Dragapult Rain. And one thing we note is that the Regieleki is problematic. I don't have a ground type, so I'm going to have to watch out for that for sure. In fact, to that end, I'm going to lead off with, I think, my Rillaboom, just in case they decide to take advantage of that. Yep, as they do. And I'm going to go straight for knockoff because they should always volt switch here into the Ferrothorn, or they just go hard Ferrothorn. That works too. Okay, so at this point, the grass move is pretty free on their part, I think. I'm gonna go hard Pelipper to get up the rain as they knock off, and I noticed that my opponent doesn't really have a good switch into Hurricane. I'm just gonna go hard for Hurricane. I think that is Assault Vest Tapu Lele. So I'm going to go into Melmetal now as they go for Focus Blast, and then unfortunately for them, they miss. I'm going to hard Superpower here so I can kill that Ferrothorn as soon as possible. They could double, but I don't think they will. Okay, good. So my opponent seems to know what they're doing to an extent, and that allows me to play around them appropriately. Now here, the Regieleki is coming in again. I'm minus defense. I don't really know. I need to keep the Rillaboom healthy though. That's the main problem. I need to keep this healthy for the Tapu Lele. So at this point, it's a little bit tricky. I could go into Tapu Koko, but I want to save that for the Como. I think almost what I want to do is just sack the Pelipper here. The sack Pelipper. The Ferrothorn is gone, and that was the one thing I wanted the Hurricanes for. And at this point, they have to decide what they're going to go into. I have a Scarf or Shifu, which should be able to easily Surging Strikes their team down. Unless they go into their own, which I can go then into Rillaboom on. And they have nothing that wants to switch into Rillaboom here. I'm going to U-turn onto Como, which is basically their only switch in. And that allows me to go into Tapu Koko. I'm going to now U-turn. As they go Landorus, yes, and now that gets me an Urshifu. And Urshifu's Rapid Strikes is going to be pretty hard for them to switch into, I think. I'm just gonna go for it again. Because that's 45%. 45% is bigger than 41, yeah. Okay. Good. So they were forced to switch there. Now my rain is gone, unfortunately. So at this point, Dragapult can come out, I think. And they don't really have anything that wants to come into Dragapult necessarily. I'm just going to click Surf here. If this were in the rain, of course, that would do a ton of damage. But it is not. And at this point, I'm going to click Draco Meteor. Because they may want to preserve this. Yeah, and go Como, that's fine. That didn't really get them anything. But then now they can safely switch into Regieleki. I'll just sack this here. No point. Regieleki is definitely going to be a problem for this team. As we knew from the start, I think. It's not that big of a deal though, because we sort of knew it going in. Alright, at this point, what do you have for my Urshifu? Not too much, I don't think. I just want to double check the Tapu Lele dies though. Alright. Maybe something like this with max HP. Just in case, because it does seem quite bulky. Urshifu, Rapid Strike, or Surging Strikes to max HP to 66% min. I'm just going to go into Urshifu and Surging Strikes here. Surging Strikes is going to be really strong against the Regieleki, obviously, and the Tapu Lele will die, most likely. And this puts us in a more offensive position as opposed to going something like Melmetal, which would have to try to dodge a Focus Blast. And then if they switch into their Urshifu like that, then they are also Scarf, actually. Interesting. Unfortunately, we lose that speed tie, but what are you going to do? Here they're going to just always Volt Switch. I'm going to go into my Tapu Koko, I think. There's actually Electro Ball here. I can Dazzling Gleam whatever wants to come out as they go Landorus. That seems sensible enough. And I will sack this because I don't actually want the electric terrain up. I think electric terrain is bad for me. Right? So if I can now go into Rillaboom, I can get rid of my terrain entirely. And I can just click the Grassy Glide a bunch of times. Yep, that makes sense. Get the Intimidate off. Fair enough. I'm going to stack Melmetal, I think. Okay, that's fine. Now I can just go for a Psyshock or Moonblast or whatever they have on this. I'm pretty dang sure Assault Vest, Tapu Lele. Yeah, Psyshock, that works. Alright, so we're going to go into Urshifu. I'm going to click Surging Strikes. Yep, like so. Now this probably is like, maybe it's even Scarf. Or no, it's not Scarf. We know it's not Scarf. Then it's running Electro Ball, which is why I thought it might have been. Now we just got to run a quick calc. Okay, so Regieleki. This is a something like this. Sure, why not? Except for it's not Life Orb. But we'll do that just so we know what the max damage would be. So Electro Ball. Let's see. Electro Ball, which is not on this set. Against Rillaboom does not do overly that much. And Rillaboom's Grassy Glide does 100% min. Yep, good. Okay. So, we got that game out of the way. That's a good start. Let's save the replay just in case something happens to the video, and let's get the next battle. Okay. My opponent has a pretty interesting team here. They've got some turn with Rillaboom, and I'm assuming this is Scarf Hydreigon, and also Dragapult, and maybe Heavy Duty Boots Victini. So a lot of U-turners on their team. So I think this is just one of those battles where we're going to be best to just start clicking buttons. I'm going to click Surging Strikes. If they don't expect the Choice Scarf, then that'll be fantastic to get rid of their Victini, as they mindlessly click U-turn on me turn 1. And they don't expect the Choice Scarf, so they lose their Victini. Now, of course, the one problem to this is that that does allow Blastoise to come out. But if I go Rillaboom, I should be able to click Grassy Glide, and that should force them out. That's fine. I could go Tapu Koko here. I think I will. As they click Flamethrower, which is fine. I'm now going to go for the Dazzling Gleam, maybe? Or U-turn. That works. I don't know. Probably Dazzling Gleam was better, all things considered. I'm gonna go with Pelipper here, as I go for Earth Power. Gonna U-turn again. Fortunately, they do not kill. And let's go back to Tapu Koko. We see U-turn kills at this point, so I will U-turn again. No reason not to. And that will punish the Rillaboom switch in if they decide to go that. And if they don't, then I can go into my Dragapult, I think. And Dragapult is a problem for their team. They could have Kartana's Choice Scarf, which is a problem for me. But they're going to try to risk this. I don't really want to risk this. I'm actually going to sack my Pelipper, because as cool as the rain is, I don't want to power up the Blastoise, and the Pelipper is already really low HP. Because they actually click Dragon Dance in front of me. That is incredibly disrespectful. Alright. So at this point, I'm going to go Melmetal and click Double Iron Bash. I think that's the correct play there. As I go Kartana, and that gets a crit. I don't know if that matters. Then click Knock Off for all they care. That's fantastic to get rid of that. I will take that trade any day of the week. And the Dragapult hasn't set up yet, so I'll take that. I need to keep this around for the Dragapult, so they can go for that move. I don't really care. And unless they are timid, I believe I outspeed them. So I'm going to go here into my Urshifu. And now I get to click the close combat. As they do go Dragapult, fair enough. I'm gonna go Tapu Koko here. If they Shadow Force, then I'll have to sack something. If they Dragon Darts like that, then I can just Dazzling Gleam here. Because I'm not going to let them do any nonsense. And at this point, I have to decide what I want to sack. I like the Tapu Koko for being able to come in and do some damage to Rillaboom, maybe. But it's not necessary. And it's also nice for the Blastoise, that's the main thing. This will die to Life Orb, so I just have to pick a sack and then I'm done. Oh well, I guess my opponent realized that as well, and so they decided to leave. Alright, that's fine. Yeah, fortunately, I think in that game we were able to recognize what kind of opponent I had and what kind of team strategy they had, which was just mindlessly click U-turn a lot. Okay, in this battle, we've got an Obstagoon and an Excadrill and a Rotom Heat, plus the usual suspects. So that's a melange of Pokemon you don't usually see, but it could be problematic. My Tapu Koko has U-turn for the ground types, and besides that, does decently well, at least against a couple other Pokemon. The Dragapult in Rain does okay as well, especially if I can get rid of the ground types. Then the Thunder from Dragapult should do a decent chunk to the Toxapex. Yes. All right, I want to lead off with the Urshifu, I think. Urshifu is really strong against their team overall. I'm just going to click Close Combat turn 1 as they go Toxapex. I'm going to go Pelipper here. Just wanted to see how that turn 1 would play out. U-turning, I guess, would have been okay play. But if they decided to stay in for some insane reason, I wanted to get as much value off as I could. I'm going to click U-turn here as they decide to stay in. But now I can go into the Tapu Koko, I think. And now I will U-turn again. I really don't think you stay in against this. Okay. Okay. They do. And now, because they keep on staying in, maybe they'll stay in again. Yep, and as I get to click Thunder. So now they're definitely going to switch into a ground type, right? They're not going to stay in. So we're going to go into Urshifu here. Yep, as they do. And I want to see if I can get a kill here. Okay, no kill for me. Oh well. Tapu Koko time. I will click Thunderbolt here. Okay, as they go Excadrill. Fair enough. It could be Scarf Drill. Would they be on this team? I don't think so. I don't know though. Okay, Landorus. I don't know what my opponent was predicting there, but they were predicting something. I'll go Pelipper here. And I'm going to throw off a Weather Ball. As I go Toxapex, fair enough. I will now U-turn. They have Toxic Recover Haze. Scald, maybe, as their last move. Or Knockoff. Let's try Dragapult again and see what they have. This time, I'm going to go for the Draco Meteor as a mid-ground. I don't think you necessarily switch in Clefable on a Thunder, if you're predicting that. I don't think you have Baneful Bunker and Toxic at the same time. So now you have to play this prediction game, but you have 2 Steel types and only 1 Toxapex. I think you want to save this. As they decide not to, okay. I'm getting a lot of plays wrong, unfortunately, and they are Scald, which is good to know. I'm going to click Thunderbolt here. Again, just in case. As they go Rotom Heat, which I believe this is Choice Scarfed. I'm going to go into my Pelipper here to get the rain up. As I actually go for a play that doesn't really get them any value out of the turn, I feel. I'm going to get off a small recover. I'm going to go into the Tapu Koko and get up the terrain for whatever that's worth. And I'm going to go back into my Dragapult. They know they live this. And based off of how they played previously, they may stay in. So now we go Rillaboom on the Landorus. I'm going to click Woodhammer here. I'm going to click Knockoff. Woodhammer they have no switches into except for Rotom Heat. But if I click knock off here, something gets knocked off. And it is the Rotom Heat, and it was Choice Scarfed. Good. Okay. Pelipper again. As they go for Overheat, and unfortunately for my opponent, they miss. I'm now going to go into Dragapult as they go Toxapex. And I'm going to go for the Thunder again, because they really just want to risk this paralysis. Okay. Pelipper this time, as they U-turn. And unfortunately, this does mean my rain is gone if I sack this. So I don't really feel like I want to sack it. But an electric move is so free from my opponent that I don't really have much of a choice. Okay, here they go opposite again. Let's go sack Pelipper here. As they decide to go for the one play that does not give them that. And I'm actually going to go Melmetal here. Okay, as they knock off. And I'm going to click the Thunder Wave. You know, if you want to be annoying, I will try to be annoying as well. And now we got Thunder Punch. Unfortunately, I don't have my pads anymore. But if I can get the Toxapex low, then I can at least probably force a kill. Okay, we didn't get the flinch. So the flinch is what you're going for right here. That time we again did not get the flinch. So yeah, it's basically GG. I can't win this game. So I'm not going to drag it out. I don't agree with my opponent's plays, but they worked out for my opponent. So I guess they just have all the reads, which is fine. Okay. Let's see. This is a more standard team here. And another Rotom, interestingly. This one at least is more susceptible to the Rillaboom, so I'll take it. They could lead off with their Dragapult or their Landorus as just a let's see what's up at the beginning of the battle. I'm going to lead off with the Tapu Koko, I think, as they do lead off with the Rotom Wash. This could be Choice Scarf, right? So you want to get tricked? No. Dazzling Gleam, Scouts, and they are not. So that's cool. The Thunderbolt here, because it does slightly more damage. As the Pain Split is fine by me. And at this point, I'm going to U-turn. There's no way you Pain Split again. Okay, to go Landorus, I was not predicting that. And now we go to Pelipper, and they have no Hurricane switch-ins, so that's what we're going to go for. Well, I guess they do have Hurricane switch and they have Rotom, huh? So maybe I should click the U-turn here. Okay. Well, we go Urshifu here. Fortunately, we have Urshifu. And you can't protect on Urshifu, you can't do anything against that, so they have to switch. Because Surging Strikes will kill. Okay. That's fine if they want to do that. I just didn't want them to do anything crazy, right? So you have to sort of stay in. Okay, I'm going to defog here. They'll probably knock me out if they can, because they don't want me to roost. Yeah, okay. So at this point, what do we go into? We go into Pelipper and we start clicking Hurricane. Unfortunately, this isn't Choice Specs Hurricane. Otherwise, it would do a lot more. We actually got a confusion right there, which is really nice. And the Hurricane plus the... I wonder if Weather Ball kills from this range. Doesn't matter. Okay. The Hurricane plus the Superpower from Melmetal are really the only ways I have of dealing with Ferrothorn on this team. Okay. So at this point, I'm somewhat forced to sack or go Rillaboom, hoping that they don't go for Will-O-Wisp or Volt Switch. I don't know. I feel like Volt Switch is the obvious play to go for here. I don't want to switch, but I sort of have to. I'll go for Dragapult. I don't know. Okay, so they went for Pain Split. Very passive play. I don't really know if that gets them much though. Shadow Ball is the safest play. It's the most boring play. It's like why use Dragapult if you're just gonna click Shadow Ball? It's not really interesting, but it is the one that they can't really switch into. Okay, good. So they go Clefable. Melmetal is very obvious, but Pelipper maybe just is sort of a mid ground, right? Because there's no Amastangan, so this works. At this point, I will go into my Rillaboom this time, as I do click full switch. I will get a bit of recovery back, but they don't really have anything that wants to come in on this. I'm going to click Woodhammer here, because if I can get the Clefable gone, that would be fantastic for my Dragapult. I think. Obviously, the Dragapult doesn't necessarily fear the Clefable from a perspective of, oh, I can't touch it because it has Surf, it has Thunder, it has Shadow Ball. But more so, if I miss or something goes awry, then we're in major trouble. Okay, there's no way you stay in here. You always go into your... Well, I thought they'd go into Rotom and not into Landorus, but that works too. This is more of an offensive Landorus, I'm assuming. So I'm just going to click Grassy Glide here. As yeah, that does a heck ton. As they go for Smackdown. So they were predicting me to double into Pelipper there. My terrain ran off. Okay. Let's go into Urshifu and just click Surging Strikes. If they're offensive, they may think they out... Oh, no. No, they never outspeed. So I guess they were just sacking. That's fair. That's fair. Alright. At this point, I can sack the Pelipper because Pelipper doesn't do anything defensively. And that allows me to... If they go into Urshifu, that allows me to go into my Dragapult and throw off a Choice Specs Thunder. Which, even if they go into their own Dragapult, is still a problem. Alright, Choice Specs Thunder time. Cool. So, we haven't gotten a single Thunder Paralysis yet, but we could always get one, and you always have to risk that. If they are Dragon Darts, then they are probably Dragon Dance. Okay, that works too. And we do outspeed them. But the question is, do I want to go hard Urshifu here and Surging Strikes? I think it's better to go Melmetal first and just click the Thunder Punch. I mean, I don't know. Which is better? I guess I'll double Iron Bash, yeah. There we go, because I'm pretty sure they're not locked in. Cool. And since I'm Choice Scarfed, if they have to go for the Surging Strikes, do they kill me? I don't know. But if they're -1, does Close Combat kill them? And this is something I'm not sure, but it's the only option, so we have to go for it. Good. Did that crit matter? Let's find out. So this is one quality of life feature I wish that Showdown would fix here. Urshifu G-Max, Urshifu Rapid Strike. We have to go through so many different Urshifus just to get to the one we want. It would be nice to be smart about it and put the most used sets at the top. But, you know, what do I know? Okay, so they were -1 defense. -1. Okay, so that was a roll. 86 to 104. I had a 12% chance to kill. So, yeah, I'd say that mattered. So, sorry about that to my opponent, but, you know, that's what it is. Alright. Okay. My opponent here has a really fun team with Hatterene and Salamence. And Trainitar. I don't know what the Trainitar is doing there. It seems sort of suspect to me. They've got Trainitar as a lead, though. I'm going to click Surging Strikes here. I don't actually know if Surging Strikes kills Trainitar, though. Because I am Choice Scarf, right? Surging Strikes on a bulky max HP set is a roll knockout. Okay, they do go Salamence, which is what I expected them to do, but I wasn't going to take any chances. I'm going to go into... I'm going to go Tapu Koko. It doesn't have too much value. Has to go for Hurricane. That choice specs? I don't know. U-turn here is fairly obvious, but it's also fairly safe, so I'm just going to go for that. And then I think if I go back into Urshifu and click Surging Strikes, that might be a 2-hit KO, especially with Sand Chip on the Salamence. So I don't really think you can go into that. If they have Heatran Flame Body, they could try to go for the burn there. But this Urshifu really messes them up. Okay, yeah, that was probably a smarter play there. Okay. I'm going to go into Melmetal this time. Well, actually, no, maybe not. Let's go Pelipper this time. Okay, so go for Roost. So they are not specs at all. They are some kind of bulk set. I will go for the U-turn here as they go for a Hurricane. So maybe that wasn't quite worth it. At this point, what do we want to go into? Dragapult, yes. And I'm going to click the double into the Urshifu because they should almost always go Tyranitar here, right? Yeah, Tyranitar. Good. And we'll click the U-turn here on the Salamence coming back in because that's very obvious. I'm going to go into the Tapu Koko and click the Dazzling Gleam as they go Hatterene. Okay. Going to U-turn here. I want to keep the Tapu Koko around, obviously, for the Salamence. And we'll go into the Melmetal. Very obvious play, but it is not a 2-hit KO. And I can just click the Superpower here. Wow, you went Salamence on that? Of all the things. I'm going to click Thunder Wave here. Thunder Wave will slow this down and make it easier to beat. And I'll click Double Iron Bash, I guess. Okay. Very unfortunate that I missed that. Okay, I'm going to double now. Sack Melmetal. And I'm going to go into the Tapu Koko. No, Tapu Koko, I think. And quick U-turn. Because Dazzling Gleam kills at this point, I think. So if Dazzling Gleam kills, you go into Heatran now. Yeah. As you do. Okay, I'm going to go Urshifu. We are in rain. So Surging Strikes is a problem for you again. Your Salamence is back down to that 66% range, and you don't have a sack, I don't think. So Hatterene dies, Tyranitar dies most of the time, and the Salamence is going to die. Maybe not, actually, now that I look at it. Okay, well, it was worth a try. Okay, I'm going to click Dazzling Gleam this time. I mean, you could always go Heatran, but my opponent may decide not to. Okay, I'm going to U-turn here. And go into the Pelipper as they go for Heavy Slam. That's interesting. Okay. Going to click U-turn again as they power predict me there. I'm going to go Dragapult here. And I'm going to click the Surf. That kills the Heatran. So that's nice at least. Of course, now they can go Tyranitar. I actually think I'm going to stay in Surf there again. Wow, I don't know if that worked out for me, but I'll take it. Okay. I'm going to go Urshifu here. Does Urshifu kill Hatterene is the question. Hatterene, sure you call mine, but I don't know. U-turn does 18% to that, so no, it does not kill. I would need to go Rillaboom here and click U-turn because that'll be choice banded. Right. And then I get to go into Tapu Koko, which is faster than everything. I am getting an Aqua Jet range, unfortunately, so the Urshifu probably can come out and click Aqua Jet. And if they decide to do that, then I may have to make a play of sorts. But they don't. They go Tyranitar. I'm going to U-turn here and go into my Rillaboom Urshifu. Let's go for Flamethrower. Wow. Okay. I really wish I had Ice Punch. If I had Ice Punch, this game was over a long time ago. But I put Aqua Jet on a Choice Scarf set. So Ice Punch probably would be better in this slot, I'm thinking. Okay. I want to double on Tapu Koko here. And I go for Thunderbolt always here. I think. I'm pretty sure that Aqua Jet probably is close to killing. But I don't want to make a crazy prediction and have it not work out. At this point, you turn here always into Rillaboom and click knock off here on the Salamence coming in. The Salamence is super obvious. Doesn't really do anything, but it lets him know, and I'm not messing around here. Okay. However, I don't really have much for this. Fire Blast. Okay. At this point, you're going to Roost, almost certainly, right? And I can click Dazzling Gleam. And Dazzling Gleam, I think, puts them in range of the Surging Strikes. And that's the main thing, right? We want to get them in range of the Surging Strikes, and the Tyranitar will drop to that easily. So as long as I have all my pieces properly positioned, then we should be fine. Yeah. 69% can't waste. Okay, good. Maybe would have been smarter there would have been to... Well, no, I guess it's fine. They were trying to get Sand back up to chip me down, and you turning there would have prevented that maybe, but it also would have let them roost back up. So I think staying in was the correct play there. All right. So yeah, with that one change, which I think I'm going to make right now, Ice Punch here for sure, because you are Choice Scarfed, and the Salamence is annoying, and more importantly, the Dragapult is annoying. I think Ice Punch should have always been here. But with that one change, I think this team is definitely Electric weak. Definitely has a major problem with not having a ground type, but the Rillaboom does mitigate that to an extent. We see that it does OHKO Regieleki, so as long as you can position properly, it's not awful. And it is Toxapex weak. The Dragapult, it is very disappointing that Choice Specs Thunder doesn't do that much to Dragapult. But it has also a 30% chance to paralyze, and we didn't get a single one in this entire game. So, take that into account. And it does also have Tapu Koko, so maybe if you wanted to put Defog on the Pelipper, that's one thing you could change as well. Maybe get rid of the Weather Ball or the Hurricane, although I do think they're both quite nice. Maybe the Roost even. For Defog on the Pelipper, then the Tapu Koko has the ability to run Roost, and then that increases the Koko's longevity, making it a better answer to Toxapex. And then, of course, you can always change this Melmetal to be whatever set you want. The Assault Vest set will help with Tapu Lele, for instance. This is just sort of what I threw together to support this main Dragapult, which was, of course, the start of the show. Anyway, that's the team, and that'll be it for me today. I will see you guys next time.